transition pictures for Jimi Hendrix. He was born in Seattle and only had like 4 years of massive success before he died of a drug overdose. But those 4 years established him as one of the greatest of all time. Now, because of my Asperger thing, I can't take discord or feedback, so there was no way I was ever going to be interested in Jimi Hendrix. I can't tell you a single thing he recorded. I can't tell you what he sounded like as a person. I know nothing about him whatsoever. But anyway, he died a legend, and loads of people asked for his pictures, so I took a look. And when I went into the energy, again, that cave that I always see, he was above my head in a sort of pose, like somebody who was on a surfboard or something, but frozen in place, like suspended animation. After a time, he floated down and just stood there. Very solid, very calm, actually. But this got quite peculiar, because instead of the normal rest of the cave that I would see, there was an enormous mirror at an angle. And he climbed up it and sat at the top, reviewing his 27 years alive as a mortal. And in the pictures, these appeared like a slab, a solid slab, something you could assess from beginning to end and look at and examine, as you would a cake or something. You know, when people say, my whole life flashed before my eyes, it had that feel to it. Like, I can see my life now from every angle. I can see what it consisted of. When it began, when it ended, what I did in between. This guy was almost like an old soul who knew he'd been round several times, because he was able to assess his contract. He had signed up for something that had begun when the contract said and ended when the contract said. And it didn't make him happy at a consciousness level to think that it had ended. It somehow didn't seem fair, even though he had agreed to it prior to his birth. And he stands upon this mirror and goes, there's nothing I can do. Take me, I'm yours. And he threw himself off, imagining that the arms of grace would collect him up and carry him to where he needed to go. That's not what happened. He just fell. There were billowing sheets, pillows, a duvet, it doesn't really matter, it was very soft. Again, I got that feeling that he had been here before. He had some kind of trace memory of this process. And he stood up, and it was like, oh, so there's nobody to help me? And the universe kind of goes, well, no. You know the drill, you've got to do this, you've got to take action. And that's how it works in life. Unless you make a move, the universe doesn't know you're serious and will just sit back and wait. Once you decide to make a move with serious intention, the universe goes, oh, right, he or she is serious. I'm going to help out. And it steps in, divine intelligence steps in, and unseen forces come to your aid. If you just sit back and wait for something to happen, it's like that prayer thing I was talking about before. If you just sit back and wait for something to happen, oh, please help me, nothing happens. He walks across this billowing sheet thing, and there is the tunnel that I normally see. Up to this point, it had been obscured from view, but now he became sad, weary, more aware than ever that his contract had ended. Can't I have longer? Come on, I made a mistake. Let's make it 50 or 55 years or 60 years. So what happened with Jesus in Gethsemane? The negotiation with God. He drags his feet up this tunnel. That period of contemplation on the mirror, of reflection, and the subsequent billowing sheet thing were his opportunity to wrestle with his ego concerns, to get perspective on who he really was and what he was there to do. But it didn't lift his mood when he was going up the tunnel. And he was still trying to renegotiate terms. But it's why I say that in mortal terms, we go, when a child dies at age 10, or when somebody dies at 40, oh, their life was so short. Oh, the poor thing, what a terrible thing. In universal terms, it's simply a contractual matter. This is what you agreed to. This is what we're claiming. It's like a pound of flesh. It's a contract. But he was stubborn in that regard. And when he got to the cave where the light is, I always see, he wouldn't do anything else. He was still trying to make his case at a soul level for not progressing. And for the very first time, because he wouldn't succumb to the pull, and because he tried to renegotiate his contract at the last minute, he began to fragment right there in front of the light. Because by fragmentation and dissipation, his energy was less able to resist. Surrender is the only way at this particular point. We have to surrender to higher forces. And once he was dissipated, it made it easier for the forces to pull him into the light. 1,000,000 tiny fragments are easier to pull in than one big object. And that's what happened. He drifted into the light as 1,000,000 tiny pieces. And just went. We have a contract. The terms are the terms. What we do with the time and opportunity afforded to us on the planet while we're in these mortal capsules, what we do is totally up to us. Whether we follow our soul's path or we don't. Whether we take the path of higher intention or the path of lesser intention. It's all up to us. We have free will within the terms of that contract. But once it's over, it's over. Whether that's 5 years, 90 years, we agreed to it. Which is why it's important to make the most of every day, of every opportunity, of every chance to smile and show love and be grateful, to be present and to act deliberately and consciously with intention. Not sit and watch TV and waste our hours. When people say they binge watch television series, do something, create something, build something. Use your life productively. Be present and enjoy what you have. That seemed to be the message of this. Because it's soon over. And that was Jimi Hendrix. Absolutely fascinating. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share if you would. Follow me on Twitter @CashPeters. Otherwise, I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.